This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
Hi there, Matt Noyes, 1 Degree Outside Weather Network, 1degreeoutside.com. This is our Friday Insights and also the Friday Evening Essentials. On a Friday, we combine them together because we found that, mentioned this last week, not many of you checking things out on a Friday evening. I don't blame you, so we won't either. We'll leave it at this and see you again on Saturday morning. All right, Friday Night Lights. Awesome evening for it. It's going to be about 70 degrees on average in New England. It's a little bit humid. Dew point temperature climbs up around or over 60 degrees as we get to the end of the day. An isolated sprinkle as a cool front kind of drops in on top of us during the course of the late day and evening. Danielle had talked about that in 1 Degree Outside today earlier, which you can find on our website, 1degreeoutside.com. But for the insights, we do a little bit kind of deeper dive, right? So you've got Francine's leftover moisture and energy that's across the southern United States, and now a new storm taking shape off the Carolina coastline that actually will become kind of the dominant player for days on end. We looked at this earlier in the week and the fact that some of the energy from Francine is kind of siphoned off and brought to the coast where this new storm will take shape and be with us for days on end. The question is, do we get into any of that moisture at all? Because it will kind of drift around for days. By the time we get to the end of the upcoming week, so basically next week, you've got the chance of some showers sneaking up the eastern seaboard somewhere along about Thursday or Friday. But even that is a chance that they sneak up the eastern seaboard. One thing we've been telling you about, too, is that the wildfire smoke overhead will continue to drift south so that by sunset, it could be really pretty on the Cape. It could be a really pretty sunset for the south coast as well. The farther north you go, actually, that wildfire smoke clears out, and we all get that kind of crisp and cleaner air that comes in as we get into the course of the day on Saturday, when there is still the chance of a shower to pop up, not only in the mountains, but some of the interior, some building fair weather cumulus clouds will build during the day, and that may be able to touch off a sprinkle or a light shower. I'll show you the exact chance of that here in just a moment. We've also been talking about how Sunday the wind comes more easterly, so that comes off the ocean, adds enough moisture that a number of puffy fair weather cumulus clouds may build through the interior. Although it's interesting, you'll see in the Patriots forecast when you get to Gillette or anywhere closer to the coast, you actually probably get some stable air that comes in off of the ocean, so it keeps you mostly sunny rather than have the building clouds that the interior has. Here is that storm that's taking shape off the coastline. Here's the kind of leftover low pressure, the remnant energy of Francine. But as we watch this storm kind of come together, it will tend to drift north as we get out to the middle of the week. I got to tell you, it is not set in stone that this rain, which will be heavy rain, ever makes it up to New England at all, like even as showers. There's a chance we get on the northern fringe of it by the time we get, as I mentioned, along about next Thursday or Friday. But I would put that at about a 30 to 40% chance at tops right about now. And that's down from what looked like a 50-50 shot a few days ago. In terms of the rain forecast for the rest of today into this evening, you can see there's not much. This is that sprinkle or light shower that may pop during the late Friday afternoon, evening time frame here as we get a cold front that comes through. If you're watching this over the weekend, these are the Saturday showers that may pop up. Most of the measured rain would likely be in the mountains of northern New England, but there is the potential for a quick shower to pop up through the interior on your Saturday afternoon. High temperatures coolest at the coast as the wind comes out of the northeast. It holds you in the 70s, 80 or better when you get to a lot of the interior, with the exception of Maine. We're kind of at the source of that cool air that's bleeding down across the Canadian border. Here is that chance of a shower on Saturday. Again, not an all-day rain, but there will be a couple that pop up across the North Country and the mountains. When you come down to the Monadnock region, you get about a 50-50 shot, maybe a little bit better than that. And then you've also got probably about a 40 or 50% chance in some of the Worcester Hills. But again, it would be brief, it would be quick, it would pop up, it would go away during the afternoon, and that would be it. By Saturday night, most of us are down to the 50s, some 40s. In fact, when you get around some of the Crown of Maine, a few valleys may be able to drop to the 30s on Saturday night, believe it or not. Sunday back up around 80 degrees. Again, light wind off the ocean. Remember what we talked about with the building clouds through the interior. Maybe a sprinkle that could pop up when you get to Berkshire County. You've got about a 30 or 40% chance from, let's say, North Adams up into Bennington. The rest of us, no real concern with any raindrops popping up on Sunday. Brings us to the Patriots game. Remember I told you some of that stable air coming in off the ocean should keep it mostly sunny from Gillette to the coastline. There may be some fair weather clouds around in the morning, so mostly sunny at tailgating as those clouds start to drift farther inland. And then a clear sky. Look at that, about 80 degrees. Feels like forecast right in line with the actual temperature because wind is not a factor for this game. It's going to be quiet. It's going to be absolutely beautiful at Gillette. Monday, we're up into the 80s, and this begins a stretch. We think that as we get deeper into next week, look at this, into the 80s we go on Tuesday. Some increase in humidity, yes, but not substantial. When you look at the 14-day, this is an average for New England. We always, Danielle and I, encourage you to get our app because you can get the 14-day for your specific location. But this helps to show the trend, and the trend most certainly is to be in the 80s most of this week. And even as you get into next week, in the second week of the 14-day, you're still around 80 on a number of days until maybe you get toward the end of that 14-day period. If you did want to grab the app, just search Noyes' 1 degree outside weather. You can find it on the App Store and on Google Play. We hope you have a great rest of your Friday. We will look forward to seeing you with a coastal marine forecast later on for our boaters to take you through the weekend, and, of course, the weekend update on Saturday morning. Have a good one.